have Exodus issue number 1. This is published by Class Comics. It was written and illustrated by David Cantero. Before I go into anything, I will say this. This book is a bit confusing. Somewhat in the lines of like the first episode of Game of Thrones, where a whole bunch of new people were all introduced in different countries, different families, and in this instance, for this comic book, a lot of different types of gods too. I'm also about to give a lot of spoilers, so if you have not read this comic book and you plan on reading it, don't watch the rest of this video. The story takes place on a planet called the Nexus, which is surrounded by 3 neighboring moons. There are many different gods and goddesses that protect the different continents and the different kingdoms on the planet. However, the mother goddess Alcyoneus is the one that governs all of them. When our story begins, she is missing, so that means that all of the other gods and goddesses are going to be fighting for power. This opens up directly into a battle in the city of Delphox, where King Dargos is fighting against the hordes of Falminia, whose leader is King Dax of the city of Drum. Falminia has the support of Sirius, the god of the sea, while Delphox allied with Zor, god of stone, and Andreas, god of strategy. Like I said, it's very confusing at the very beginning to be bombarded with a lot of different characters and a lot of different gods to remember. We are quickly introduced to the protagonist, Euribatos, who happens to be serving King Dargos. He's also a badass fighter, and they do win this battle. Meanwhile, we're later introduced to the other protagonist, who happens to be Alcyoneus. He lives in the kingdom of Delphox. Their king is King Garum. They're approached by an evil dragon kind of lady who serves the god Sirius. She's saying that Sirius has taken over Alcyoneus' position as now the supreme god, and is demanding sacrifices. The king's main advisor is Altea, who happens to be a trans woman, and she's also the sister to Alcyoneus. And with the whole sacrifice thing taking place, we pretty much can guess what's going to be happening to Alcyoneus. Besides the issue of being confused with all of the different characters and all of the different kingdoms and different gods, this was a really interesting story. Once you take down notes for all of the different names being thrown at you, it does flow fairly smoothly. We don't have any meeting up to this point with Euribatos and Alcyoneus, but you know that's probably going to happen, especially just from the cover of this issue. You can see there's going to be a lot of different battles coming down the way, especially between all of the minor and major gods and the humans. Not to mention that there's a lot of other supernatural creatures that exist on this planet as well. We don't get to see too much of the gods themselves. We do get to see some of the outlines, like Fiona. And Altea does have a sexual encounter with the god Vioque, who happens to be the god of light and beauty. But that's all we really see in this first issue. This is great, and it does have a lot of promise to it, so I am going to be stay tuned to the future issues to come out. David Cantero is a great artist, and I do like his storytelling. There's a couple different bios at the end of this book that give a little bit more insight as to the characters and what they're doing, which at this point I'm pretty much accepting anything just so I can have a better grasp as to the story. So end result, is this a good first issue? Yes, it definitely is. Will you be confused? Yes, you probably will be. But once you get through it and maybe go back and forth a couple times just to make sure that certain names correlate with certain kingdoms or different gods and who they're being worshipped by, then I think you'll be okay. This is a Class Comics title, so it is very adult. There is lots of gay sex taking place. But it doesn't just focus on the gay sex. In fact, the story itself, like I said, it's very intricate. So personally, I thought it was pretty darn good. I'll leave it at that. If you're interested in reading this, you can download a PDF version of this from classcomics.com. And I'll just leave it at that. Thank you guys for watching me in this video. If you haven't done it yet, check out my Patreon site, check out my social media sites, check out my websites, and everything else out there. Hopefully, I'll join you guys in another video very soon. Peace, love, namaste, and I'll see you guys later. Peace. I know I said a lot of different names of different gods and kingdoms and all these different people, but there are even more that I didn't even include in this video. There's a small subplot that looks like it's going to be coming to play later on for 2 other characters.